Hey, this is B, and welcome to the first episode of How to Actually Get Better at Call of Duty. I'm making this because I see a lot of, a lot of videos trying to give tips on how to get better, but, a lot of them don't really seem to help the average player. You can try to emulate what they're doing, but, it just doesn't really, work for you. You'd have to do what they're doing a lot to actually successfully do what they're doing. Like somebody could give you a strategy on how to win a free-for-all or something, and most people can't really follow up on that strategy and win as often as they do because, first of all, sometimes they just lack the basic skills, and secondly, because they kind of need, they need to do it a lot more to actually learn the strategy itself. So this is basically just like just like a guide for how to actually, learn those basic skills that you need to do this stuff in the first place. So on this first episode, I'm going to talk about sensitivity, something that a lot of people wonder about, what your sensitivity should be. And the answer is anything. Some people think you should be as high as you want, as high as you can go, up to 10 sensitivity, and sometimes people think that you're super MLG pro if you get 10 sensitivity. But that's not really the case, because there are most MLG players actually play on lower sensitivities, like 3 or somewhere around there. And the reason for that is much higher accuracy. It's a lot easier to aim when you're on the lower sensitivity, but there are many situations where a higher sensitivity really helps. I personally play on a high sensitivity, 10 actually, but there are many situations where I just can't shoot people at long range because I can't aim very well at that long range when I'm moving around so fast. So, sometimes I'm trying to learn how to get used to both 10 sensitivity and somewhere around 3, simply for the sake of, if I ever am playing maybe a longer range map that'll need a lot more accuracy, then I'll be able to switch over to a lower sensitivity, and I'll be perfectly comfortable with it. And at close range maps, where accuracy is not so necessary, but turning around fast may be much more necessary, higher sensitivity would be much more useful in that situation. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to learn how to get comfortable with both sensitivities, which is not a very easy thing to do. So anyways, most people watching this are probably on a lower sensitivity. Most players are, but a lot of people actually go up to a higher sensitivity. There's no real answer to what the best sensitivity is, but I can tell you how you can get any sensitivity you want. Some people just like, hey, I want to be a 10 sensitivity player. They put on 10 sensitivity and they just get on. They can't really do anything. They can't aim. They can hardly move around. But it's not as simple as just putting it on. You gotta kind of work your way into it, I guess. So I'm gonna explain that in this video here. I'm gonna talk a little bit about how you're able to achieve that and get to any sensitivity you want. But first I'm going to point out 2 things. First, what is the purpose of having a lower sensitivity, which I'll show right here, and how it can be beneficial. So you see right here, I'm coming over here and shoot that guy, and then I shoot him. Basically, having a lower sensitivity can allow you to be more accurate like that. I know it's not a very good example, partly because it's just a private match I did with a guest, or another controller, but it shows sort of, I was playing on a lower sensitivity right here. I had it set to 3. That sort of shows how you can be more accurate, I guess, with this. On a 10 sensitivity, I could have probably done the same thing because I'm much more used to a 10 sensitivity, and on a 3 I'm not used to it at all. But you can, most players can do that on a lower sensitivity like that. You can just easily snap between targets. But when you're, the point I'm making is I'm not used to a 3 sensitivity, and even with that sensitivity, I can still do that fairly quickly, just because it's, pretty easy to do with a lower sensitivity. Now I'm going to show how higher sensitivity can be a lot more useful in certain situations. So you see right there, I quickly turn on that guy, and I can jump around the corner like that. So that's the use of having a higher sensitivity. If someone's shooting you in the back, you can quickly turn around and kill them. Usually they have to be a not very good player for that to happen, because they have horrible accuracy, but you know, even sometimes when a decent player just fails, you know, it happens. So that's a really good use for having higher sensitivity, and probably one of the main reasons why people would use it. So so I'm going to show you basically how you can make your sensitivity however you want it. Whatever you feel like you're used to is not what it has to be. Usually most people start off the game with a lower sensitivity because the game by default starts you on 2. So most people will be used to 2 right from the start. Or somewhere around there. But if you want to change it, basically the most effective way I found of changing your sensitivity is to change it slowly. Like one time, just, you know, if you're playing on 2, just turn it up to 3. Just once, just turn it up to 3, and you know, play with that for a little while. You might feel a little weird, you might start not doing quite as good, but you know, play with that until you get like totally, completely used to it. You know, however long that may take. It might take some people a day or 2, might take others a week, whatever. Just however long it takes you until you're 100% comfortable with that new sensitivity. Then once you've become completely positive that you're completely comfortable with it, then change it up to 4. And same thing, just get used to it, change it up to 5, so on. It might take a little while, and you probably won't be doing quite as good during that time, but you know, in the end, it'll probably be worth it if you get to the sensitivity that you want. And it can be really useful having a higher sensitivity in many situations. So yeah. So if you want to change your sensitivity down, and it's too high, and you want to actually, and you're used to it being really high, but you notice that you're really inaccurate, same thing applies. You just go backwards. You just turn it down 1, say you're playing on 10, turn it down to 9, get used to it, turn it down to 8, get used to it, so on. It should be easier going down because getting used to a lower sensitivity is usually a little bit easier, at least from my experience it is, but still, it'll take a little while. Either way, these methods may be somewhat slow and take some time, but in the end it's probably worth it when you get to the sensitivity that you really want. You may find that a sensitivity right in the middle, like around 5, will be pretty useful for you, since you can turn fairly quickly and also have pretty decent accuracy. Although this may only work for some people, other people may find it that it doesn't really work for either, that you still have not very good accuracy and you still can't turn very fast. So, you know, you'll just have to find what works for you. You know, maybe you're trying to go up to 10 and you find that you do really good on 8, but even after going to 9 and getting used to it, you still just don't do as good. Maybe you want to stick with 8, you know, or 7, or whatever it may be. I know a lot of people go at 7. That's usually a pretty common higher sensitivity. So that's all for this episode. I will be making more of these, covering various topics. Future episodes include a general way of improving your accuracy, no matter what sensitivity you're on, and various other tips such as that. Most of them will be focused on improving accuracy because, well, how to get better at Call of Duty is, well, you improve your accuracy. That's one of the most vital parts of this game. There are a few other things I may mention that are not accuracy related, but that's a large part of it. So, yeah, if you like this video, you can subscribe and all that, because I'll be making more of these. And, so, yeah, I hope you enjoyed.